All right, today we're going to take a real pulse check on the Cardano ecosystem. We're looking past all the hype and getting into what it actually takes to build, to innovate, and frankly, to survive in a market this tough. And let's just start with a heavy dose of reality, shall we? This quote from Risk Gaming Co., it really sums up the mood right now. The pressure is on, and for a lot of projects, this isn't just about building cool tech anymore. It's a battle for survival. So that's the big question, isn't it? What separates the projects that make it from the ones that fade away? Let's take a look at how some of these teams are answering that question with some serious action. First up, opening the gates. Instead of just sitting around and waiting for users to find them, some of the smartest projects are out there building bridges to bring in a whole new world of users and, let's be honest, capital. And wow, this first one is a big one. BetFi just dropped what could be a total game changer, a direct swap from EVM stablecoins right into Cardano's native token, ADA. So if you're not super familiar with EVM, just think of it as basically the rest of the crypto world. It's where the massive majority of stablecoins, digital dollars like USDT and USDC actually live. We're talking trillions with a T, a huge ocean of liquidity. And the way they've set it up is just beautiful in its simplicity. You've got stablecoins on another chain? Great. You just use the BetFi platform and boom, ADA gets sent straight to your Cardano wallet. And the best part? You don't need a centralized exchange. That is a massive barrier to entry that they've just completely vaporized. So why is this such a big deal? Well, it's a direct on-ramp to Cardano from that enormous EVM world we just talked about. For a platform like BetFi that runs things like online poker, this means more players, more real activity, and a pathway to some actual sustainable growth. Okay, the second big strategy we're seeing, the pivot to profit. In a market like this, the smartest teams aren't afraid to adapt, to change course, and to chase what's actually going to bring in revenue. Atlas is just a perfect example of this. They looked at their original plan and realized, you know what? The fastest path to actually making money is a perpetuals DEX, a place for trading crypto derivatives. So what did they do? They went out and acquired another project to get their tech and their talent, letting them hit the ground running. That is a decisive business-first move. And this isn't just talk, right? Their pivot is backed up by a really concrete plan. You can see from their roadmap they have a clear path forward, which has got to give their community a ton of confidence in this new direction. Metera is another great case study here. After a while of just building quietly behind the scenes, they've come out with Minute Markets. It's a simple, super user-friendly application that's designed from the ground up to do one thing really well: generate consistent revenue. And here's the genius part. The more successful the product is, the more revenue it makes. And that revenue is then used to go out and buy Metera tokens off the market and burn them. This creates a direct benefit for anyone holding the token. It's just a simple, beautiful, sustainable model for creating value. All right, our third strategy is maybe the most important one. It's all about community. The projects that are really built to last are the ones putting their earliest, most loyal supporters right at the heart of their future plans. This quote from the Necro League, it just captures this perfectly. As they're growing from a single project into a full-fledged gaming studio, they are making it crystal clear that they're rewarding the people who've been in the trenches with them from the very beginning.
And they're not just saying it, they're proving it. A whopping 40% of their new token is being airdropped directly to their legacy holders. This isn't just a little thank you. It's giving their OGs a real, meaningful stake in the new venture.
And this token, the NAS token, it's not just something to trade. It has real, tangible utility. You burn these tokens, you get a premium NFT, the Necron Amulet. And that gives you a share of the profits from the entire gaming studio. It's a direct line from community belief to a real stake in the company's success. And finally, let's circle back to the raw reality of building in the space. Because it is not all wins. It's about honesty, it's about pure grit, and it's about focusing on what actually works. Let's revisit Risk Gaming. They were brutally honest with their community about the things that just weren't working out. This kind of transparency, it is so rare, and it builds an incredible amount of trust. But here's the other side of that coin. Despite all those setbacks, their laser focus on BetFi poker is already paying off big time. We're talking over 20,000 ADA in volume in its very first week. That is what grit looks like in action. Melting Moons shows us another form of that grit, diversification. They are just grinding it out, pulling in revenue from every possible source to build a solid, sustainable foundation for the future. So, after looking at all these builders on the front lines, what can we actually learn? What's the pulse of the ecosystem really telling us right now? Well, it really seems to come down to this builder's survival kit. First, you gotta open the gates to new users. Second, pivot to find the profit. Third, reward your believers and make your community the core of everything. And finally, stay transparent. Acknowledge what's not working so you can double down on what is. These seem to be the keys to not just surviving, but actually thriving. And all of this brings us to a final, bigger thought. In a market this volatile, maybe the most important innovation isn't some new piece of code or fancy new algorithm, but simply the courage to adapt.